Hi everyone, Jackie Schomburg-Abstract here. Today I want to talk about Celadon. This is also called Titan Green Pale, but this color, this gray-green color, is called Celadon. And it is one of my favorite colors to use. It is kind of the only neutral that I do use. And I wanted to find out if I could mix this with my novacolor paints. Since novacolor does not sell a Celadon currently, I'm hopeful that they will come out with one. But Titan Green Pale from Golden is wonderful, but I wanted to see what else I could do. So without further ado, let's mix some paint. The first thing I'm going to do is use some regular Celadon. And what will I use? I'm just going to use a color shaper to spread this on. Okay, so it's this really nice neutral. It almost looks like wet concrete. It's just a little bit green, but also lots of gray, and it's kind of a warm green, which means it has some yellow in it. One of the reasons I'm doing this is that I can at least not have to wash my brush in between. Okay, so Jane Davies has a wonderful video about how to mix Celadon. I'm going to dry it her way, and I'm going to try it with some other things. So let's see what happens. All right, her way, she used a couple different yellows. Whoops. I'm going to throw some paint on the floor. So I'm going to be using Indian yellow, Azo yellow medium, and Hansa yellow. And Hansa, you can tell, is my favorite because I do have it in this giant squeeze bottle. I'm also going to use yellow ochre, see what we can get there. And we're going to mix all of these yellows with, can you guess what I'm going to mix it with to get to the green? Not blue. I'm going to mix it with black and white, mostly white, a tiny bit of black, and then some yellow. So let's do it. The first one I'm going to use is Hansa yellow. This is my favorite yellow, mostly because it does not have chromium in it. Not chromium, cadmium. There's no cadmium in here. Cadmium yellows and cadmium reds have heavy metals in them, so I try not to use them. The fluorescent colors I use also have some nasty things in them, but I forgive them because they're fluorescent. I don't know. Don't worry about the logic. I just don't like to use chromium, cadmium, gosh. Okay, so I have some yellow. I'm going to mix it into the white. It's going to make a nice buttery popcorn kind of color, which is really a darling little like spring chick or like a marshmallow peep kind of color for those of you in the US. I don't know if peeps are global. Don't know. You guys can let me know. I don't need much black. I'm going to take the smallest bit of black and mix it in here, and let's see what happens. If you haven't tried mixing green using black and yellow, I highly recommend it. You get some really cool, like split pea soup type greens. And there's a whole range, like a whole spectrum of greens you can get. So I'm going to add a little bit more black, because I was telling you guys how little black you needed. Getting closer. All right, much closer. Also, I'm using this, which is, I should use a palette knife. For the next colors, maybe I'll use a palette knife. My color shaper, not the best mixing tool. Okay, so let's see what this looks like on the paper. It's a bit lighter than this original. Oh my gosh, it's really close. It is really close. So again, this is the original color. I wasn't even trying to replace that color, but I think I just did. It's a tiny bit lighter and a tiny bit, I guess a tiny bit whiter. But I mean, that's really spot on. So I'm happy with that. If I mix a touch more black in, again, why am I using a color shaper to mix? Not my best idea. Let me get something different. Okay, let's use the tool for the job, right? Use a tiny bit more black. Just want to see if I can get what the deeper tone would look like. Oops. All of a sudden, if you use too much black, you will find out real quick. All right, I don't even know if this is going to show up as a different color than my first one, but let's look. So this is just a bit more black. Yeah, you really can't even tell. But it makes me feel better that I tried. All right, really solid option. Okay, so A+, Hansa yellow. Next up is, let's go progressively more orange. So this is the Azo yellow medium. It's a bit, you can tell even here, it's not quite as green, it's a little bit warmer. This is more of a green yellow, or at least it's closer to green on the color wheel. Wipe everything off so there's no cheating. Don't want to bring any other colors into this. All right, as a yellow medium, again, I don't need a whole lot of yellow. This is way more than I need. It's really fun to mix these. I typically don't mix my own colors for Celadon purposes because this color I like so much and it's very handy to have something pre-mixed. But if you need to mix something, all right, I'm going to start with black this time instead of white. It's probably not a great idea, but that's what I'm going to do, just to show you guys the green that I can get before I add the white. See this, like, it's like instant, I don't even know what color to call that. Like, I'm picturing like army fatigues. So now I'm going to add some white. And instantly, this mutes way down. So you need very little black for this. It's such a light color, even though the value of the color is a little darker than it looks. If that makes any sense. Okay, so this one's also going to be light, but let's see. Okay, so this is way yellower than the first round. Now, is that because I just haven't added enough black yet? Could be. So let's do that. Let me add a bit more black. Oh, that's way too much. So it's right now, this is getting a lot closer to the last color we did. The nice thing to know about mixing Celadons is you really can't go wrong because you can always keep adding white and black. If something's too yellow, if something's too light, add more black. If something's too dark, add more white. But any of these colors is still going to be a nice color. Okay, this one appeals to me more because it's not quite so yellowy. So it's a bit warmer than this. This one has more blue in it. or it's toward blue on the color wheel, let's say it like that. And this color is a really nice, I mean, these are all nice Celadons. Okay. I'm not crazy about the yellowness of that, but that was on me. Okay, now Indian yellow. Again, Hansa, Indian, very different. Azo, Indian, still very different. This is almost like how fresh are your egg yolks. If your egg yolks are extremely fresh and right off the farm and organic and all that good stuff, you might have a yolk that looks like this. So take a little out. Now this is transparent. Actually, they're all transparent. So never mind. I was going to say that might make a difference. It's not going to make a difference in what we've already done because the colors are very similar. All right, so we've got Indian yellow. Let's do white this time first. At least then I can figure out how much yellow to add before I complicate things with black. Okay, again, super creamy yellow. Let's add some black. Wreck all that sweetness of the creamy little Easter chick. And this is a nice putty color. Again, pretty yellow, so I know that I didn't like that last time, adding a bit more black. Hopefully that wasn't too much. And again, I used to think this was the greatest color ever. It's still a really nice color. But now I'm thinking, I really like what this Hansa did. So maybe I should be working on my Celadon game and making my own Celadon color. Okay, this is Indian yellow added. It is definitely warmer, just like it warmed up. You know, this was warmer than this because it's just closer to like the yellows on the color wheel. It's giving me military for sure. Even more so than the others. But still a really nice color. And this is a bit darker, so if I want to add more white, I can. Mix that up and try to get something more on par with the other colors I used, which are a bit lighter in value. So Celadon is a super easy color to mix because there's a lot of room for error, and I wouldn't even consider it error. There's a lot of room for Celadon. It's just some Celadons are more blue, some Celadons are more of a jade color, some Celadons are more yellow, some are more blue. There's a whole wide range of right answers. This is nice. This is almost, again, these are kind of some nice putty colors. They're a little less green, but I dig them. Now, what do you do when you have all these colors on your palette? You don't want to waste them all. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me do some yellow ochre. And then what I'm going to do is I will use these paints to make a background here so that I have something that has a nice neutral background and something that I can use. You don't need a whole lot of yellow ochre. It has a lot of pigment. She says as she keeps getting yellow ochre in. All right, a little bit of black. Now I use yellow ochre a ton as well. Might have been too much black. So because it's a little bit too black, I'm going to add some more yellow. Now it's getting a little green, like more toward green anyway. And also pretty beigey. So I'll add a tiny bit more black. Let's see what we can get. I'm losing some of the green, more of the green. And because, right, yellow ochre, Hansa, Azo, and Indian yellow, right? I mean, this is way over toward the brown. So it's understandable that it's getting warmer because it's a warmer color that I'm mixing. So this, oh, this is not mixed very well, but it's much less green. And again, some mixing. I think the color shaper probably also is not the right tool to be using for this exercise, but might as well keep using it. So another really pretty neutral, it just probably not the most Celadon, but what if I add to this, what if I add some Hansa yellow? So this is the yellow ochre mixture, but I need something that's less warm to add the green. So if I add Hansa and then add a bit of green or a bit of black, the yellow and the black should make the green. Well, they will. It just depends on how much of each I decide to use. Definitely greener. All right, what do you think? Am I going to leave black streaks through the sample too? Maybe I should have some sort of betting thing going on, like 2-to-1 odds she's gonna have streaks in her mixture. Okay, this makes a huge difference. Just adding that Hansa yellow here, turn this into this, which is very close to what we have over here. Okay. So do you understand that it doesn't really matter what yellow you have at home? You can use that yellow with a tiny bit of black and some white, and you can make whatever range of Celadon that you want with those colors. If you're interested in making a different color, get a different yellow and try it out. There's no wrong way to do this. We can also, to that point, this is the other things I wanted to do. So I just got a novacolor paint shipment, and I have this deep green, which is almost black. It's like a midnight green. See that? I've never used this before, but I wanted to see what would happen if I tried making like a gray green using other greens instead of starting with yellow. It may not work at all toward a Celadon color, but let's try it out, huh? I'll use these in a minute. Whoops, for now I'll put them over here. All right, so this color, oh man, I did not need nearly that much. I think I got excited. All right, so this is the deep green. Let's take some white. First of all, this is a good way to see what color you have. When a color is this dark, it's very hard to see what the actual color is. So mixing it with white, you can see this is like a spearmint candy. You know how all my color mixing metaphors go to food? Yeah, this is nice. Okay, so now if I add a bit of black, come on black. Actually, I have some over here left over. And I just noticed I'm using my color shaper to mix again. So what if I wanted to get to a gray green using greens? So here's the interesting part. Yes, there's white and black and green in here. This color is so, it's not super blue, but it's much more blue than any of these. And the yellow comes into play. So if I put this over here, is it a gray green? Yes. Is it Celadon green? I think you could argue that it's Celadon green. It's a very different Celadon green. And this is more like, I'm familiar with Celadon from, pottery class in high school. And this is more like a Celadon glaze for ceramics. So if I want to add something of like an acidic, just a little bit of something else to really make it less sweet, just to cut the coolness of it and warm it up, I added some Hansa. Might have added too much. But again, it's just paint, guys. If you learn one thing from me, I hope you learn, one, you're an artist if you call yourself an artist. That's kind of all you need. But two, it's just paint and it's just paper, and we can do things over again. All right, so this is kind of an in-between. So this gets us much closer to this color. This is still more of a putty and a neutral, and these are still more bluish greens. But let me add some more black. Again, I'm sure someone is shouting at their screen right now, Jackie, put down the color shaper, mix with something else. And yet here I am. Sometimes I just get stuck on something and can't let it go, and right now I don't want to let the color shaper go. Okay, so now let's try this color. And now we're right back in to this zone. Now, this was my original Hansa Yellow black and white Celadon, which is all we needed. If I mix in this green, what it does, let me actually just color right over here. So it's not as yellow, it's not as warm, but it's still a cool Celadon color. Get it? Cool? Didn't even mean to say that. Okay, so this color is this color. Much closer, farther away from this. And I like all of these colors. Maybe not all of them together, but who's to say? So I encourage you to play with your paint. Make some Celadon if you're interested. You do not need to buy golden Titan Green Pale. If you want to, by all means, go for it. It's great paint. However, if you're using novacolor paints, I would recommend, based on this, well, based on your preference, pick which one you like, but I like the Hansa Yellow the best. Along with, I use carbon black, titanium white. Could not get, an easier paint supply list than a primary, a black and a white. So go have fun, paint something. I'm going to spend the rest of the time using the Celadons I've already made to paint on here. And I will see you next time. Keep an eye out for part 2 of this Celadon series, where I'm going to be using these colors to make a background and then make a mixed media painting on top of that.